Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 6 of our healthcare project management course. I hope that you're enjoying the class so far and learning a few things about project management. Excuse me. I know that over the last 5 weeks we've talked a lot about a lot of different subjects as it relates to healthcare project management. I do want you to understand that project management is kind of universal. We use project management in manufacturing, you use it in service organizations, in schools, you certainly use it in healthcare. It's kind of a universal skill set and expertise, and really the type of projects is really all that changes when you look at healthcare project management. So learning these tools will be a good thing to do across the board, no matter what you plan to do in the future. I know that I've talked to a couple of you. You may want, if you like project management, you may want to consider doing the PMP test to see if you can pass it and become a certified professional project manager. That takes quite a bit of study. It's not something that's overly easy, but I don't know that it's overly difficult either. As I see this truck backing up here in our driveway, making all kind of racket. But anyway, week 6, as we begin, we're going to talk a little bit about the role of HR, or human resources, in healthcare project management. Project management teams are made up of people, and they often operate within organizations, and so some basic HR stuff is important for us to consider this week. For one thing, we're looking at the roles of the people. Uh, Everybody on project management teams have different roles. Sometimes they overlap, but you'll have team leaders and facilitators and scribes and financial people and just a variety of people who may participate on a project team. So identifying the roles, what are their responsibilities, who's responsible for what, that kind of thing is an important part of the process. It's not unusual to have a group of people get together and sit at the table in a meeting and everybody agree on what's to be done, but then you leave the meeting and nothing's done because the responsibilities for the actions weren't clarified. So not only outlining roles but outlining responsibilities is an important part of the project management team. The development of the team is also something a leader has to look at, and what I mean by that is a lot of us are used to working individually. We're used to coming in and having a job description, doing our job, and while we may work with others, a lot of our work doesn't necessarily depend on others. It's kind of like being in class. You can work with your classmates on things, but your grade is pretty much up to you and your effort level. And then sometimes teachers give you a project to do with other students, and your grade is dependent on other people. The same way, the same kind of thing is what I'm talking about at work. In hospital, doctors' offices, wherever, where part of your job performance now becomes dependent on other people. So it takes time for that to work, for you to get used to that idea, to understand how do I work with a group now instead of I just do my job. And there are a lot of issues and stuff that can come up with that. Certainly training, and maybe in other classes you've seen the team development model of the forming, storming, norming, conforming, and performing, or what have you. There's a bunch of those models in terms of a team life cycle. So understanding and learning about teams and how to work on teams is a little more than what you might think on the face of it. So the other things that I think about that come up when I think about HR in a project management situation could be unions or non-union organizations. Certainly if a team is trying to accomplish work within a union organization, they are a stakeholder, so complying with the contract, complying with the needs of the union, working around agreements and stuff is part of project management. Organizational structure is part of understanding the HR part of teams, of project management. How do we get things done in the teams? How do we get things done in the organization? Usually we see a team get together, they're told we want you to accomplish such and such purpose. They get real excited, go out and try to do it, and people that are not on the team kind of throw up roadblocks, if you will, because you're in their sandbox, or that's not the way we do it, or you need to talk to this person, not that person. And so some of the bureaucracies of the organization can get in the way. So understanding the organizational structure, understanding decision making in the organization, who are the decision makers, how do I get things done, is an important part of this process. In addition to that, we have conflict management, as I think about it. What do we do when some of the team members don't like each other, or they get into some sorts of conflict? How does the team deal with conflict? And again, there's constructive conflict and there's destructive conflict. So how do you as a team build guidelines, operating rules, if you will, as a group in terms of how will you behave together? So that's important. And finally, as the team winds down and they've successfully completed the project, how do you reward the team? Do they get gift cards? Is it a free dinner that they get? Do they just simply get a thank you? Does their work file get updated to show new skills? What do we do to reward the team once the project's over? So those are some of the things that we'll be talking about this week as we think about HR in project management. Because again, project teams are made up of people, so you have to have plans and so forth for all that. Don't forget that we did record the first Zoom conference call this past week. And if you didn't watch it, it was recorded, so you can go out and watch it briefly. Send me an email that said, let me know that you have watched it, because I can't tell if you can, and then I'll give you credit for that. This is week 6, so please, please, please start making sure your work is caught up, and keep it caught up, because when we get to week 8 or so, I'll have to tell you that I won't take any late work at all. Because you're going to start running out of time here now as we've made the turn. Let me know if you have any questions on anything. That's what I'm here to do, is to help you. Hopefully you're okay with all of that and understanding what we're doing. Keep in mind that you have a project that will be coming up due in just a few weeks, which is kind of taking all of the things that we're talking about and combining them and telling me and showing me that you kind of know what we're talking about. So let me know if you have questions. I hope you have a great week.